You probably believe you can sense when someone is dangerous, when a person is toxic, unstable, or intentionally harmful. We are taught to look for obvious signs: aggression, manipulation, control. But Carl Jung warned us about something far more disturbing. The most destructive people are rarely obvious. They don't attack. They don't threaten. They often don't even know what they're doing. They are polite, emotionally intense, sometimes caring, sometimes deeply wounded. And that is exactly how they enter your inner world. Jung believed that most human behavior is not conscious. It is driven by repressed emotions, unresolved trauma, denied impulses. And when someone refuses to face these forces, they don't disappear. They look for expression. They look for someone else. Very often, they choose you. You begin to feel guilt without cause, responsibility without reason, exhaustion that doesn't belong to your life. Slowly, you become a container for someone else's unconscious. Jung called this projection. What we do not confront in ourselves, he wrote, we will encounter as fate. This fate doesn't come as an event. It comes as a person. Someone who reacts to you as if you were the source of their pain, who blames you for emotions they never examined, who turns you into a symbol instead of seeing you as a human being. This is not done with malice. That is what makes it dangerous. You start doubting yourself. Maybe I'm insensitive. Maybe I'm the problem. And the moment you start asking those questions, the dynamic is already working. But projection is not the only hidden danger. Sometimes the threat doesn't come from emotional chaos, but from emotional perfection, from people who seem too controlled, too balanced, too correct. Jung called this the persona, the mask we wear to function in society. The persona is not evil. We all need it. The danger begins when someone forgets it is a mask. They appear stable, polite, impressive, but behind that polished surface, something vital is missing. Authenticity. Everything spontaneous is pushed down. Everything messy is rejected. Everything real is hidden. And what is hidden does not disappear. It accumulates. Living near someone dominated by their persona feels artificial. Conversations lack depth. Emotions feel rehearsed. And slowly, without noticing, you start wearing a mask too. Jung warned that this is how people lose themselves in relationships. Not through conflict, but through silent adaptation. And the longer the mask is maintained, the darker what it hides becomes. This is where the shadow is born. The shadow is everything a person refuses to recognize in themselves. Anger denied, desire repressed, resentment swallowed. The more someone insists on being good, the more dangerous their shadow becomes. Everything seems calm, until it isn't. And when the eruption comes, it hits whoever is closest. Repression alone is not the end of the danger. When guilt and morality are added to repression, the shadow does not just explode, it judges. This is the moral controller. They speak in the language of values, discipline, and truth. But beneath it lies fear of their own shadow. Desire becomes sin. Doubt becomes weakness. Individuality becomes disobedience. They believe they are helping, but their morality is not growth. It is control. Living near them, you feel watched, corrected, measured. Slowly, guilt becomes your internal climate. This is not virtue. It is psychological imprisonment. But there is an even more unstable danger, because some people are not repressing anything. They are possessed. Jung called these autonomous psychic structures complexes. A complex is an emotional wound that takes control of behavior. The person no longer reacts to the present. They react to the past, relived as now. Affection turns into accusation. Closeness becomes threat. Warmth collapses into silence or rage. You walk on emotional glass. You adapt. You explain. You shrink. But no amount of love will integrate someone else's complex. And when inner regulation fails, they seek regulation externally. This is where the final danger appears. The psychic vampire. They don't want connection. They want containment, your attention, your stability, your emotional energy. At first, you feel needed, chosen, important, but the hunger never stops. Exhaustion sets in. Not physical, existential. You feel guilty for wanting distance, cold for needing silence, until you realize something devastating. You are no longer living your life. You are maintaining someone else's inner stability. And Jung was clear. This is not love. This is unconscious dependency. But here is the truth most people avoid. None of these figures exist only outside of you. At different moments in life, you may have projected, worn a mask, repressed your shadow, used morality as armor, been ruled by a complex, or drained others to survive your pain. Jung never taught us to hunt monsters. He taught us to recognize unconsciousness, because what remains unconscious does not disappear. It controls. Awareness is not cruelty. Boundaries are not betrayal. They are psychological survival. And the moment you see these patterns clearly, they lose their power over you. That is where individuation begins.